Filled with twists, turns, and terror, horror series can be quite the thrilling ride. For some shows, however, the greatest mystery of all is how they got canceled. Bruce Campbell's horror movie hero Ash Williams has been one of the most beloved figures in the genre since his 1981 debut in The Evil Dead. Campbell reprised his iconic role in the Starz continuation series Ash vs. Evil Dead, reuniting with filmmakers Sam and Ivan Raimi to bring the property to television. The series followed an older Ash who was dragged back into the world of monster slaying, as evil forces seek to unleash literal hell on Earth. Armed with his shotgun, his chainsaw hand, and his usual wisecracks, it falls upon Ash to save the day. Premiering on Halloween 2015, Ash vs. Evil Dead ran for 3 seasons on Starz, before being canceled with the conclusion of its final season in April 2018. Though the show struggled to find an audience with its linear broadcast on Starz, it performed well after being licensed to stream on Netflix.
That's very true, but I may have a situation.
Several years after its cancellation, Campbell opened up about the circumstances regarding the end of Ash vs. Evil Dead. Speaking with Collider, Campbell blamed the lower viewership on the obscurity of Starz as a platform overall, noting that the show's popularity on Netflix came too late to save it. On paper, the Hulu original series Castle Rock seems like a premise for a surefire horror hit. The show takes place in the eponymous Maine small town, populated by characters and themes from classic Stephen King stories. Each season focuses on different plot elements, providing a modern twist on King's tales and remixing them with other stories. However, Castle Rock only lasted 2 seasons. The show was officially canceled by Hulu at the end of 2020, 11 months after its final season concluded. Castle Rock was produced by Warner Bros. Television and Bad Robot Productions as part of the latter's development deal with Warner Bros. That deal ended in 2018, the same year that Castle Rock premiered on Hulu. Around this time, Warner Bros. Was also beginning plans for its own premium streaming service, which would eventually launch in 2020 as HBO Max. With the partnership fulfilled and Warner looking to pivot to providing content for HBO Max rather than its competitors, Castle Rock was quietly canceled. Filmmaker Mike Flanagan has made a growing home for his television horror projects at Netflix, including the well-received The Haunting of Hill House and Midnight Mass. In 2022, The Midnight Club, based on the literary works of Christopher Pike, was set to continue Flanagan's winning streak on the platform. The show follows a group of terminally ill patients at a hospice facility who tell each other scary stories each night. As this nocturnal tradition progresses, the patients proceed to experience frightening supernatural events in the real world. Unlike Flanagan's single-season projects with Netflix, The Midnight Club was intended to run for 2 seasons to complete its story. However, Netflix canceled the series 3 months after its premiere, leaving its season finale tease unresolved. Speaking with Deadline following the cancellation announcement, Flanagan attributed changing internal priorities at Netflix for the show's premature end. There has also been speculation that the streamer decided to cancel the show after Flanagan signed a multi-year development deal with Prime Video, though he denied that that was the reason. After German filmmakers Jan-Tja Fries and Baran Boodar's success with their Netflix original series Dark, the creative team signed a development deal with the streaming platform. The first project as part of this deal was 1899, which premiered on Netflix in November 2022. The show follows the crew and passengers of an ocean liner traveling to America from Europe in 1899. After the ship encounters an abandoned vessel during its voyage, sinister occurrences take place on board as the journey continues. Despite positive reviews and the creator's multi-year deal with Netflix, 1899 was canceled in January 2023. Though the series posted strong viewership in its first 3 weeks of release, Netflix claimed that less than 50% of households that began streaming 1899 actually finished the 8-episode season. Unfortunately for the series, these undesirable statistics are the reason the company cited for the show's cancellation. In a written statement posted to Instagram, Boodar noted that he and Fries planned at least 2 additional seasons before 1899 was ended due to Netflix's metric-driven renewal strategy.
I think it's going to be exciting to watch if the audience actually loves this new puzzle too, as they liked Dark.
The French Netflix series Marianne serves as sort of a nightmarish twist on the 2006 movie Stranger Than Fiction. The show follows novelist Emma Larsimone, who discovers that characters from her books are roaming the real world. Among these characters is Marianne, a fearsome witch who begins to target Emma's family and friends as part of a bloody vendetta. As Emma is stalked by her terrifying creations, she must contend with alternate realities and what she has unleashed on the world. Upon its premiere in September 2019, Marianne performed well in international territories, with creator Samuel Bowden planning a second season. However, as with 1899, Netflix claimed the French series suffered from a low completion rate among its viewership. Specifically, Netflix claimed that in the show's native France, viewers were not finishing the series enough to justify a second season. Despite glowing critical reviews worldwide and a cliffhanger ending, Marianne was officially canceled in January 2020. While Marvel Television had certainly flirted with the horror genre before, they've fully embraced it with Helstrom. Streaming on Hulu in 2020, the series is based on hellish Marvel superheroes Damon and Anna Helstrom, reimagined as the children of a satanic serial killer. Because of their parents' cultist activities, Damon and Anna develop paranormal powers that they use to root out evil. However, Damon is secretly possessed by a demon and targeted by a cult that seeks to unleash it on the world. While Helstrom was in the midst of principal photography in December 2019, Marvel Television was disbanded by its new parent company, Marvel Studios. Previously, Marvel Television had been part of a separate parent company, Marvel Entertainment, and produced Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Marvel's Netflix original programming. After Marvel Studios absorbed Marvel Television in October 2019, its head, Jeff Loeb, stepped down, while Marvel Studios planned its own television content. This corporate restructuring led Helstrom to be released with little fanfare in October 2020, and quietly canceled 2 months later.
There's not 1 ounce of compassion in your body, no empathy.
Capcom's Resident Evil franchise popularized the survival horror genre and continues to be a major video game property nearly 30 years after its launch. Netflix put its own spin on the Resident Evil mythos with a live-action television series that premiered in July 2022. Taking place primarily across 2 time periods, one in 2022 and one in 2036, the show follows devious scientist Albert Wesker and his 2 children after the world is overrun by zombies. As the 2022 storyline reveals how the zombie apocalypse begins, the 2036 sequences depict the last bastion of humanity fighting for survival. In its first week on Netflix, Resident Evil actually posted impressive viewership numbers, briefly replacing the 4th season of Stranger Things as the platform's most-watched series. However, viewership plummeted in the face of negative word of mouth and poor critical reviews shortly thereafter. The following month, Netflix canceled Resident Evil, leaving its story incomplete after a cliffhanger closed out its only season. Since both this series and the feature film Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City were largely failures, it might be a while before we see the franchise return to live action. Matt Ruff's 2016 horror novel Lovecraft Country was adapted into a television series by Misha Green and premiered on HBO in 2020. This show follows young Korean War veteran Atticus Freeman as he searches America for his missing father under the shadow of Jim Crow. This cross-country trip veers sharply into the supernatural as a sinister cult takes interest in Atticus even after he returns home to Chicago. In addition to the widespread institutionalized racism and terrifying monsters summoned by the cult, horrors from the Korean War arrive in America searching for Atticus as well. While a second season, tentatively titled Lovecraft Country Supremacy, was planned, the series was canceled by HBO in July 2021. At the time, HBO claimed the show's high production costs were not worth the viewership the series received, thus causing the network to cancel the series. However, James Andrew Miller's tell-all book Tinderbox, HBO's ruthless pursuit of new frontiers, claims the cancellation was motivated by negative workplace reports. Unnamed sources cited in the book accused Green of creating a toxic work environment, leading HBO to shut down the show. Though unconfirmed outside of Miller's book, the claims do put the production and premature end of Lovecraft Country in an uncomfortable light. The perennial gateway to the works of celebrated filmmaker David Lynch, Twin Peaks ran for 2 seasons on ABC from 1990 to 1991. After homecoming queen Laura Palmer is murdered in a small Pacific Northwestern town, FBI Special Agent Dale Cooper is assigned to investigate. What follows is an increasingly surreal exploration of the dark side of a small town, with many of the locals possessing their own sinister secrets. Cooper's visit takes a surreal turn when he learns a supernatural entity involved in Laura's death ties everything together in shocking ways. Despite being a surprise success in its first season, ratings plummeted halfway through the second. This decline was attributed to Lynch leaving early during production on the sophomore season, and a sudden change in time slot due to television coverage of the Gulf War. The creative shift in mid-season time change led ABC to cancel Twin Peaks months before the season finale aired. Frustrated by the experience, Lynch disowned the second season and concluded the story with a revival season 26 years later. The Archie Comics brand found new life on television, starting with the premiere of Riverdale on the CW in 2017. Netflix launched the horror-tinged sister series Chilling Adventures of Sabrina the following year, and found its own success in the eyes of critics and viewers. The show starred Kiernan Shipka as teenage witch Sabrina Spellman, who contends with the forces of hell and her own demonic parentage.
Hear me! Spirits of the dead! And reveal the portal! Help me to pass through with this great portal!
The series ran for 2 seasons divided across 4 blocks of episodes, and received a surprise holiday special in 2018. Though a 5th block of episodes was planned by series creator Roberto Aguirre Sacasa, Netflix canceled the series between its 3rd and 4th blocks in July 2020. Sabrina, as well as Glow and I Am Not Okay With This, was part of a wave of canceled Netflix shows that were canceled that year despite receiving tentative renewals. As the COVID-19 pandemic shut down entertainment productions worldwide, Netflix decided to cancel several of its shows to cut costs in the face of prolonged uncertainty. Shipka's Sabrina later appeared on Riverdale, while Aguirre Sacasa turned his story ideas for Unrealized Chilling Adventures episodes into a comic book.